get sick on the weekend. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boys, Petey and Cal. Yo, Jen, say what's up.
What's going on?
Ready to rock.
Well, this is news we've known before, but, it's getting pretty bad out there. Marvel don't want to pay people. According to this Bleeding Cool article, basically some of the top well-known artists have come out saying that Marvel just pays very low royalties, pays very low for covers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they're going to DC or other places. So, hey, Jess, what is your take on this?
What's new? That's been true for like 20, 25 years. This isn't a secret. It's not new. Who was it? It was Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin said that he received better royalties for just the mention of the KGBs. No, not the mention, but the usage of the character he created, the KGBs. The character wasn't even in costume. It was pretty much just the name. Okay, it was just the name on this guy. He said he got better royalties for the KGBs as he appeared in that form in Batman v Superman than he did for Thanos. Okay?
Wow.
Thanos.
Wow.
Look how big Thanos was to Marvel Phase 1, 2, and 3. And then he's saying, no, I got better money for when this guy made pretty much some cameo appearances in Batman v Superman. This is not new. It's not a secret.
But you figure by now, Starlin's talking about something that happened, 10, 15, no, longer than that, years ago.
He's talking about how he's getting paid from Disney for
talking about the movie.
In a movie.
Talking about the movie. That's not 10, 15 years ago.
Wow.
Because also the other thing is that Thanos was not under the 4% that they were doing after 1983 for creators. So it was basically, there's nothing in the books for anything before that. They had to, I think they finagled for the Alpha Flight, and possibly for the New Mutants. But it's and then the hard part is after the bankruptcy, and then I think when Quesada was in, because you get to see them kind of sell derivative to the creator, say, hey, let's come up with, Winter Soldier. Let's come up with these derivative characters. And, they weren't getting paid. I don't think they were getting paid that royalty anymore. I think that royalty was gone. And if it's derivative, there was no chance of you making it. But like Dustin Nguyen, he's really upset. He said, also, everyone I'm not working with at Marvel can go bleed themselves. I've asked nicely for the past 15 years on the behalf of every artist. Stop bleeping creators over. You're not getting another cover from me until then. Drown me. I'm okay with your minimum wage bull bleep. So he really, that's not it. There's more here. He's going in.
He really went off hard. But I love his art. I love the look of his cover.
Yeah. He's definitely.
Cal, how do they sell? Do they sell anything special? But I always like the way the colors look in the design with Dustin. So it hurts me to hear that he's like, yo, this is ridiculous. And, as you go down, you have someone like Yanick Paquette, where he's saying that he does get paid even better from Boom and some of these other studios. And you're like, oh, man, that sucks, bro. If you scroll all the way down, Petey, to the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. And when you have artists,
go back to what he was saying. I'm just messing around. Which one do you want me to go to?
Keep going. Yeah, where he's saying, everybody. He puts it in caps. Everybody pays me better for a cover. DC, Boom, Image, Dark Horse, Oni, some Joe starting a Kickstarter. Marvel is dead last.
Oh, this below is my guy here. Jason Sean Alexander. My Marvel experience was a joke, and DC has only been marginally better. But they're currently screwing me on my books. No need to be polite anymore. And that's how they got here. F those. Man, it's just tough. Well, this guy actually, I was a fan of Frostbite. I think he did Spawn for a while. And he's a really great artist. And when I went to his desk, he wasn't there, and I was just pawning over. It's easier when the creator isn't there and you haven't met him, so you can just be like, and he came over. And then initially, I thought it was a black guy. He wasn't a black guy; he was a white guy. And he comes up and he says, "Hey, I was like, hey," I said, "Oh, you're an artist." It's like, "Yeah." And he's like, I hear it's this I have his creator owned book that he did for Image. And I was like, wow, I didn't know this came out. He said, hey, you want it? I was like, yeah. So it's tough to hear him going through it too. That even, that Vertigo was supposed to be on the end of going to the bookshelves.
What do you mean going to the bookshelves? Vertigo's coming back out again.
No, I'm saying bookshelves is another way to sell from a comic store to go into Barnes and Nobles. Like Vertigo was like a pipeline, even though the sales weren't as big as the mainstream. Your pipeline is go from comic book stores for a couple weeks to a trade paperback in the bookstores. There's more chance of that happening than some of the other arcs of the New Gods, that might have been sold a little bit better than Vertigo stuff. Like Vertigo was saying, hey, we're going young adults. We think these
Yeah.
books can kind of do that. So I mean, this is the track for a Vertigo book, and this is a good one. It's a gorgeous book, and it's sad to hear that he had that experience at DC. It was marginally better.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. I mean, it's not going to impact, Yanick. I was like, wow, I love some of his art, and just to say,
Oh
you
no, Yanick Paquette. He said DC Boom Image.
that's what I just said, Petey.
Oh, sorry, he said it already.
Yeah, I just said that. But it's just interesting to me that Marvel is, like they said, the top, the big dog, and they have an enormous amount of resources. They have the movie studio. They have a lot of things they sell. Yet they're like, well, this is all you're gonna get, $100. I mean, if you scroll up, someone quoted that they only got $100 for a cover, and you're like, what? $100 for a cover? Are you serious? But I guess it's just to play with the big boys is what you have, and this flies into what Cal was saying in our Peter David article. These guys don't make a lot of money off of this stuff, right? Cal?
They didn't used to be able to. Cal said it before. Used to be able to make money off a cover.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear anybody. That's what I would probably pay an artist for a cover. But Marvel, you should be able to make some decent money off a cover. I mean, you got people who they strictly are employed as cover artists. So I'm surprised to hear it would be that low. Dustin, I mean, Newton I would call him a fan favorite artist. A lot of people like his art, and not a lot of covers that come to mind, with the exception of his. Well, he's got this. There was this DC series called Amy Girls, which is supposed to be some rather anime version of the DC heroines. And there's one particular cover with Wonder Woman. It's a sexy cover, so that one comes to mind. But otherwise, not a lot really jumps out to me. However, fans like the art, and now that I'm thinking about it, I know a lot more of his art for DC than I do for Marvel. I don't know where you get with this, however, because Marvel has been like this for a very long period of time, and I don't know what the DC is a little bit different because of the history that happened with some of the older creators like Siegel and Schuster and Bill Finger, where of course it looks horrible when these guys are now putting curses in the newspaper against the company. So I think they do tend to deal a little bit better in terms of the royalty stuff. And DC for a while, DC was under Warner Brothers for a while, so that might have allowed them to pay do better payouts. But Marvel did have the 4%, the 4% royalty that was supposed to go to creators. I don't know what it is now. And then again, I don't know what it is that Dustin Nguyen might have created, where he doesn't feel that he doesn't feel that he's getting dual royalties for. But again, with Marvel, this is not new. It's just not new. You know that Marvel pays less. You know that Marvel pays significantly less when you have Anatoly Krinaev in the Batman v Superman movie, and nobody knew who he was, because nobody knows the character by name. Nobody knows Anatoly Krinaev. They all know the KG Beast. Nobody know, but he got paid.
Yeah.
He got paid, as opposed to Thanos, who everybody, people are like, oh yeah, we know who this guy is, definitely, without a doubt. And Thanos, who was so important to it, is like, no. So I don't know what the royalty setup is, what the breakdown is, but it's not a secret.
Well,
Is it a question of them having, like, like the artists or singers and writers having better lawyers? Hey, do they come in and say, hey, let's negotiate these terms, or do they just say, hey, this is the standard rate, you got to take it?
I don't know many of them who have to get lawyers to negotiate these things. The contracts tend to be pretty standard. So I would be surprised if you need an attorney unless you're, unless you're underage. For the most
well,
part, these contracts, work for hire contracts, tend to be pretty much the same. I've used them myself. They're not very different.
if you're, I know if you're, I don't know if everyone does this, but at some point in Burns' career, he had an entertainment lawyer, and then
Get out.
he didn't do what's that book? A Jurassic Park book with Gil Kane. George Perez did it. He inherited Burns' entertainment lawyer. So when Perez was doing the Avengers, he was like, I want to build my name up, and I'll do it for next to nothing. The entertainment lawyer's like, now wait a second. He said, and he's like, I said, I'm actually getting paid a decent amount of money here. So basically, the deal was to do X amount of issues, 12 issues, and then you get a bonus, which he did. That type of contract. That's the things that you work out of X amount of issues. And I think on Byrne's side, he did have the same thing, but Byrne, of course, there were no fill-in. There were fill-ins in Perez's Avengers after 12 issues. There were no fill-ins in Byrne's contract. So Byrne was like, if my title, the sales go down, I would go into Marvel and renegotiate. But this is the thing. The other part of it is these aren't, I know this artist's been around forever. Like, I know just from covers, and it was a little more stylized than it is now, right? It's not like newbies, say like John Byrne and Frank Miller and George Perez, when they were coming into the industry, and they were just like, we don't care that there's no money, that there's no royalties. We just want to make our name. These are all established names, and you're not supposed to be coming in for peanuts at this point. And I understand as the sales in this thing goes down, but you can't always take the money from the creators to keep the money for the company. You have to at some point pay these guys, and then when you see the movies and you see this stuff, you don't want to hear that Marvel is the worst. That's
Yeah, I mean, dude, the covers are what sells, bro. Look, I bought New Gods and I think it sucked. The Gods, and I think it sucks. Okay, simply based off the covers, And I'm saying that, and I'm sorry if I'm
you saying you bought it, or you said the cover sucked and you
I
didn't.
bought the cover. I bought the series because
Did you
I
like
like
it, the
cover.
cover first?
I like the cover. Yeah,
Okay,
I love the cover
that
art.
makes sense now.
And Kyle says it all the time. People not reading the comics; they're buying the covers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Thing is,
Like using artists like Adam Hughes, Jenny Frison, there a lot of times the books sell simply because these guys follow the cover artist. I mean, I, I'm trying to. What was the last name? Gun Honey. There's a series called Gun Honey,
Yeah.
and if anybody's actually reading these stories, I would be surprised because all I know is that the covers sell. There's some sexy chick on the cover. Guys pay money because they collect those type of covers. So yes, you have that type of you have that niche within comics, and Comic books is already, if you're a comic book reader and collector, that's already a niche. That's not this widespread thing when it comes to collectibles. Well, I guess it's fair to say not most are, but comic books have niches within the niches within the niches at the end of the day. But collecting strictly for the cover art is one of the more prominent niches within the niche.
I'll say this: even when DC was selling in the '80s, most of their outside of Titans, what else? Legion and Omega Men. Those were their like big sellers, and you had a couple things. I think for the miniseries they had the Camelot 3000. Even at that stage where like DC books or regular titles were selling low, I think Paul Kupperberg had a what is it, a royalty check we posted on Facebook for I think DC Comics Presents or something like that. So even at the stage where in the 80s where DC people weren't making that much money and not making that much royalties, DC was finding ways to give these guys a royalty at their level. Because way Jim Shooter says, hey, DC books don't have the threshold that Marvel books. Marvel books had a higher threshold. They were selling a lot more, but they had a distance to get to the money. It seems like DC had less of a distance to get to the money. So the hard part here to get to this stage to be in the present day, and they're going back to the sweatshop type of deal, where and that's the hard part is where they're like, and we can get anybody to do these books and we'll pay like we can get anybody to get these books. So hopefully Marvel can get their act together, or Tom Brevoort do something about it. I think he's one of the top guys. I guess you have to go to CZ Sapolsky to try to do something about it to get the wages better. But I don't know if these guys are actually involved in that portion of it. So who
I
knows?
just think it's just crazy because, and you and Cal can see when they have like right now, Absolute Batman, the Absolute line is just going just off the hot.
Bananas.
And when they look, every time they do another printing, they do another cover with a whole nother artist who's coming out there, and those are selling, right, Cal? And you're like, what the hell? How the hell did this fly off the shelves? Because people like that cover, this new cover of the Batman or the Wonder Woman, And I'm like, that's crazy. And then I think back to some of the classic DC and Marvel covers. Like to me, one of the covers that I loved the most was the new Teen Titans when it first came out. You have everybody there. You have Raven in the middle. You have Wonder Girl on the side. You have Starfire. You have Robin in the middle. I'm like, wow, that's one of the things that I remember buying. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get this. This looks totally dynamic and really great. Of course, the Frank Miller cover for Batman. You're like, that's great. The what's another cover? The Death of Superman. Right? You have the flag, not the American flag. You have the Superman. What do you call that?
The one with the flag.
Not flag. What you have? What is this thing called? Is
Eight.
his cape? Flying like a flag. And you're like, and it's rubber. You're like, wow, no way that could be.
You mean
No way.
Superman 75?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, iconic covers. Those covers sold stories. Sold, right? Did they not?
Yeah, but look, this doesn't matter. The bottom line is Marvel has its policy when it comes to how it's going to pay out. This outburst on Nugent's part is not going to change that. And there you go. You will get so much money for doing. You were going to get so much money for doing X, Y, and Z, depending on what you can negotiate. If your covers are going to sell a lot more because you've got a lot more draw, maybe you can negotiate something a wee bit better, or a lot better for that matter. Otherwise, you're going to have your standard boilerplate contracts because again, Marvel's like, hey, we're not trying to make you rich. We're trying to sell these books. And then, it becomes like, all right, you want to negotiate something where you get paid, but you may have like what, one cover that hits a year? And how many covers do you do with over all these covers at the end of the day? So they're playing hardball. And you can always up your game, I suppose, when it comes to certain things. But, like I said, this is not a secret. I don't understand I can understand the frustration on Nugent's part, but it's not a secret how Marvel plays this game. It's not.
I don't know. I'll just take a look at it. Like I just posted something with Petey in the chat about some of the iconic Marvel covers, and these are sold year after year after year. The Wolverine, like, come and get it. Wolverine #1. Come on, you know. You see these covers. You have the X-Men 141, John Byrne, Terry Austin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cover. You know, you just look at them and you're saying these are some fantastic things. Secret Wars, Spider-Man in his black outfit. You're like, come on, bro, come on. Amazing Spider-Man 300, and you're telling me this does not these things sell, and you don't want to get the best possible artist to push your comic? I don't know. Just call me weird. So I don't know. Matt Sylvester on that one. I can't even. I haven't seen that one. Have you?
I don't know about this Hawkeye cover. It's stylized.
Very stylized. I don't know about that Avengers one, but I'm just
Oh,
saying.
Avengers one was a good one. Just they're not, well, I don't know. I don't know why it goes in something else. But yeah, there's a Frank Sinatra album cover. That's the same face.
Well, I wouldn't pick this one for Alex Ross, but Alex Ross has done like some classic DC ones that are so off the chain. I mean, he's done some great ones for Marvel, but I think DC has done some really good ones there. You know,
Yeah.
I get what you say, Cal, but it's like it's the cover on the it's like the trailer on the TV for a movie. A good trailer can sell a bad movie, right?
Civil War? Are they kidding?
A bad trailer a bad cover art on an art comic isn't going to sell anything. People will look into it. Like the most famous books books, Game of Thrones. Looking at their cover on that book the first time, I was like, I don't know. But when I took a look at it again, I was like, you know what? Let me take a look at it. And everybody, that particular book for Game of Thrones, the first one I saw, sold out because everybody was like, wow, this cover is pretty interesting. And of course, years later. But I'm just saying, hey, I just think it's just weird. But Marvel, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're losing great artists. But if for you, you don't care because there's another 100 people behind the ones who are saying they're never going to go back to you.
Exactly.
Keep charging
Well,
$100.
that's the thing. If I don't know, I think there's not a. I don't know. This
Exactly.
is
Okay.
ridiculous.
You
You
can
can't.
write this thing. You know how many people over there would love to do a cover for Marvel, get their foot in the door, and they would do it for $100. So
No, that's not the way to go.
no, it's not the way to go, but it's the reality. You will have people who say, "Look, if I can get my start, if I can get my cover out on Marvel, $100, okay, I'll start at 100 and I'll go from there." So yeah, I don't agree with it, but then hey, look, that's the reality. I
Well, that's
can
the
I
same
can give cut
business.
rate, I can give cut rate, I can give cutthroat, I can play hardball, I can give rather cutthroat prices, and I can play hardball because I know I'm one of the only games in town and people want to do the work.
Well, that's the thing. Well, no, they actually. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't understand. If you go to like the image guys, right? They come into the room. Terry Stewart. The actual thing is Todd McFarlane's complaining. Stewart got a little bit on Jim Lee's nerves. They kind of overhyped it up. To Tom DeFalco, his thing was someone come to him was, hey, we can get anyone to draw those books, and that's what I think he kind of did to Greg Capullo, and they were like, oh, we're not, because we don't want to promote you because then you're going to leave, and then it's like, well, he left. So it is, you don't want to keep having exodus and then just say, then it turns into the 90s where you're like, oh, we got George Perez writing this Giant Man story. Who's drawing it? Someone who can't put doesn't know anatomy and doesn't do, a cooler version of anatomy, which is what most of the young, I guess you could say the same for, I guess, Bern Perez and the Miller early on. Then you had Jason Scott Campbell, all real stylized people, that sort of stuff. So, you don't want to just have a thing where you're just the worst company in you were the giant and now you're the worst company out there. You make more money doing commissions than working for Marvel. So until Marvel cracks down and say you can't do Marvel commissions, which is what a lot of people felt Disney might do because they don't usually allow Mickey Mouse commissions to fly. When they hear someone drawing Mickey Mouse, they shut them down.
So you think that's why they're saying, okay, you can do the commissions. You don't get anything now, but since
It's
you've
just a
done
long no. It's a long process. It's been going on for years when artists can't get work. They just do commissions. So they thought maybe Disney would stop it, but they know that a lot of artists, when they're older.
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying so Disney is just saying, hey, we're looking the other way. Hey, you can do commissions, not Disney, Marvel commissions once you've worked with
No, they
us.
don't talk. They don't talk. No one says anything
Just
about
the
it.
unwritten thing. I'm saying.
Unwritten, yes. Not say it. Definitely won't say
But
it.
if you've never done any Marvel, are they looking at that? It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter.
No, don't have it. I mean, if you're a DC guy that can't get work and you start drawing Wolverine, they're not gonna say nothing.
Okay. Got it. All right, guys. Hey, so let's wrap it up. Anything else you guys want to say about this stuff?
Wow, that's all I got to say.
Okay, cool. All right. So, hey, if you like what you heard, give us a thumbs up, comment, spin a rack, out.
Out.
You're out.